we had promised you leo tutakuwa na guest here at our show that tutakuwa tunaongea couple of issues concerning mental health and suicidal awareness, tukijua tu this is the month where ambuli kwa International Suicidal Awareness Month. Kitu kama hiyo. And tukiangalia in the past 3 years kulikuwa kumewekwa theme here ambayo ilikuwa inakuwa from 2021 to 2023 ambayo nasema creating hope through action. Sasa sijui kama Kenya tumeweka action yote.
Okay, so far kwanza hapa not just Kenya, kwanza hapa Africa, like we don't take mental health issues seriously. Kwanza like tunaachia kufa kivya, kuna ile like kuna the experts ambao wana deal na mental health, but it's really only mtu ameenda ku seek help on that issue matters of that issue, like on health issues. Na tunataka kujua kwa nini from the experts atuambie like if maybe they get the people coming to seek the necessary help.
Anyway, on our show today we have our guest speaker, a psychologist graduate, a modeler, and everything.
Yeah, she's a lot of things atakelezea.
Yeah, she's a good lady, a sweet lady. Kuna msee by the way before tuanze alinifuata inbox after nimepost hiyo, ngoja nimalize bro. After nimeweka hiyo poster akaniambia can you greet the speaker juu alisoma na yeye akiwa high school. Na msee anajulikana kama Michael Katana. Aliniambia greet the speaker. Ni sawa. Umesalimika?
Nimepokea salamu. Thank you.
Okay, on our show today tuko na guest speaker Ashley Jayalo.
Ashley.
Good afternoon. Junaona sasa nimefika saa 6. Good afternoon Ashley.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Vita FM.
Thank you so much for having me.
Najua leo ni siku ya kwanza umeingia Vita FM. I'm much humbled.
Thank you so much for the invitation. The place is lovely and the hosting team is just phenomenal.
Okay, thank you too for honoring our invitation.
Indo ile part tunafaa kublash ama. Anyways, so before we continue, Ashley, can you introduce yourself? Ili msikilizaji pale nje kujue who is this guest speaker?
Okay, thank you so much, Chris. My name is Ashley Jayalo, the model coach Kenya. I'm a psychology graduate from Maseno University. Currently, I'm working professionally as a model coach. I'm also the director of the Suicidal Talent Academy, an exclusive academy dealing with children who are in Mombasa, helping them to identify and nurture their talent. And I'm really grateful that today I'm able to be a part of this conversation talking about mental health and suicidal awareness.
Yeah.
Because we are living in a generation where we are encouraging open conversation on matters that affect us as young people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, umesikia hizo credentials zote amejitambulisha.
Yeah, she's a
director of Jasiri.
Yeah, she wears a lot of us, if I may say.
Yeah, mimi unaambiwa bro, in life you need to work hard so that you do not introduce yourself. Ukipita mahali. So for now nikitembea na Ashley pale town nitakuwa najulikana Chris anatembea na director wa.
Okay, so see you like
itabidi follow your ways my master.
Yeah, to finish the how.
Okay, Ashley. So today we are not talking about the other part of you, the modeling part.
Yes.
Let's focus on mental health and suicidal awareness.
Exactly.
So let me begin. In your own terms, what do you define mental health?
So, mental health is our general state of well-being. This can take the shape of our emotional well-being, social well-being, and physical, because our entire system works in tandem, you know. And so when we're talking about like our mental wellness, it's like our general state of well-being. Yes. And also it can apply to mean how we're able to deal with life stresses and such things, because we cannot go about life in a smooth sailing, because you understand that in life kuna misukosuko. So how you're able to navigate through that is what we are able to say you're a mentally stable person.
Okay.
Yes.
So bro, are you mental stable today?
So for being mental stable, you mentioned like usikuwe na stress ama just
no.
Being mental stable, you mentioned someone who is like of course stress free. What do you mean by mental stability?
Mental stability, I think it's that ability to go through life stresses. Like I said, in life you're always going to experience situations where you're feeling upset.
Yeah, the upset and downs.
Yeah, exactly. So your ability to navigate through that, your mental stability. And I think all of us at some point we get to a place when kuna screw inaanguka pahali, and we get a little bit unstable. But your ability to bounce back from that experience makes you a wholesome person.
Yeah. So maybe, can you prevent mental health problems in this life? Say tuseme mimi niko na mental health. What steps am I to take ndo ni prevent you isi erupt ikakuwa big issue paka nikafikia extent ya commit suicides?
Okay, so I feel dealing with mental health problems cuts across different ages. How I deal with a child is different from how I'd be dealing with an adult. So we cannot avoid to face the fact that adults have gone through so many experiences. So I'm not just dealing with you at the present, I'm dealing with your childhood experiences, your childhood traumas. So like prevention, let's say prevention wouldn't be the first course of action. It would be like, now first we have to address what happened in your past. 10, now find a way of reconciling the entire experience, like unpacking what happened to you and like the role that your past played in making who you are at the moment.
So in short, we are digging the past.
Yes, like in psychology we are so interested in what happened to your past, because
what is it now?
We definitely also take into consideration what's happening at the moment, but we know that most of your actions in your adulthood are affected by what you went through in your childhood. Yes.
So what are the causes of mental health in today's society? Let me say to the age bracket here, my youths from the age of 18 to let me say 30 years. Juu youths kuna ile mambo mengi zinawapata, unapata lot of cases zimetokea recently ni za youths commit suicides, wanakuwa emotional broken down. Unaona ile participation yao to the society has been calmed down. So what are the causes of mental health ukiangalia in your way?
Okay, so I feel like there are internal factors and external factors that affect our mental health wellness. Let me start by first talking about our external factors. This can take the shape of our society, our family, and also social media, which plays a very important role in these problems that we are facing. So let me just unpack the role of the society. If we're staying in a society where young people are not encouraged to speak about the problems they're facing, and there's no conducive environment to even say that I have a problem, I'd like to ask for help. Like I was having a conversation with a friend of mine in the morning, and we were talking about like if you as a young person who are going through a mental health problem, we don't have free mental health services, you know? And you didn't even know like what a mental health problem is. Like we have anxiety disorders, which are the most common ones. Anxiety, personality, and like it's a broad spectrum. So one, the society like creating an environment conducive for people to talk about it, and also like raising awareness on like we're talking about mental health. What are these mental health problems then? Now then we can look at like the family. The family at times, like after your body, your home is your second home. Nice. So like when your home isn't conducive for your well-being, maybe you have a toxic parent, toxic siblings, you're going to be very vulnerable to experiencing mental health problems. Yes.
So okay, I've heard you. So in that state you've lived well, umekuwa ukikaa fiti na watu nini, but then absolutely things change, but not you notices, the other part notices kwa mse yako hivi. So according to oneself ambao unapitia situation, how do you first know that you're mentally unstable?
I feel maladjusted behavior or deviant behavior. If you used to wake up early in the morning and all of a sudden you're like, no, I'm not doing this, and then that should be an early sign. Lack of motivation, you don't find joy in the things that used to be normal for you. Like if you loved hanging out with friends, it becomes like tiring. If somebody tells you to go out, it becomes a stressor. So like those are like the early signs. Like if you are diverging from your normal behavior, then that should be telling you like there's something that's going on and you need to address it.
So is it advised that you seek medical temptation quicker or unafaa ngojea hadi erupt. Juu unajua Africans we keep things to ourselves, unasema ile issue itaisha tu. Okay, let me say I'm in a relationship and then the relationship doesn't do well, it's quite violent, inanikula akili, but then unachekili unasema if so and so did this, acha pia mimi nita chill on my side then iishe. So is it advised mtu ajekee hizo vitu zake hivyo, ama kuna stage ambayo anafaa aende seek medical attention?
Okay, that's a good question, and I feel like most of the things you're dealing with, you can address them at a macro level, like hapa penye tuko. If we are in a relationship, the two of us, and you feel like this is not working out the way you had intended it to be, we can first start by talking about it, and then if like conversation seems not to be bearing fruit, you can decide now you want to go for other sorts of intervention. That can be like a therapist who is specialized to deal with relationship issues. Yes. So I think that would be the best way, the best course of action.
Okay. No problem. So Bwana Dismas Oniego,
so at that level as a person, how is it easy for me to open up like to you, like niseme kwa nimefeel kwa okay na break out from my norm, like my normal activities, ndio niseme tu like mbona feel like it's something that I can overcome by myself, mbona nikuje kwa class ya therapist as a psychologist, mbona nikuje kwa like.
Yes, so I feel like now what sets us apart is that we are professionally trained to deal with the situation. So unlike your friend, I know like the entire process of how a counseling session should go. Okay. Because when you're dealing with your friend, I know most of us say open up, but do you know it's actually very dangerous to open up to just anyone?
Yeah.
Because we say in psychology, you cannot open a box and not close it. So like when you're in a counseling session, we ensure that we help you unpack, resolve the problem, like sort through out what is underlying, and then we help you now resolve the entire situation. Okay. It's not a one-time thing, it takes time, because we understand we're dealing with a human being, the most complex being in this world. So we take absolute care to ensure that your well-being is at the top of our priority.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so conversation inakuwa moto tu hivyo polepole. To our listeners unaweza tupata pale katika 0713113129 0713113129. Let's talk to you, tujue maybe what are the situations you've been through in a life ambao kasikia you are emotionally break down, ukafika extent paka mwenye unafikiria kufanya suicide. But for that, acha nipatie my speaker time upumzike. Let me give you Adele, Easy on Me. Listeners, we are moving on, na tumekuambia tuko na our guest speaker with us, Ashley Jayalo, and we are talking about mental health and suicidal awareness, vitu kama hizo. So Ashley, we want to talk about stigmatization first, before hata wajua watu wengi wajuangi kizungu. So in your own terms, what is stigmatization?
Well, kwa Kiswahili nadhani ni unyanyapaa, right?
Unyanyapaa, ile kutenga mtu ama
unyanyapaa.
Mimi sijui unyanyapaa ndio, lakini ni hivyo.
Unyanyapaa. So hiyo ni ile hali ya kutenga mtu. Yeah, in simple words ni hivyo, kutenga mtu.
So how are stigma disorders related to mental health issues?
Okay, so I feel like stigma in itself, it's not a disorder, but stigma can greatly contribute to someone's mental health. So like, let's say if somebody is going through a terminal disease, and people decide now like wanataka kumtenga, itafanya I feel isolated, and in turn atakuwa withdrawn, meaning that this person is at a vulnerable state.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you feel like someone has a control how they perceive, how people knew as you feel like as in a depression and all that, like same like uko na terminal disease and people discriminate, wana ku stigmatize. Why don't you just accept your situation na usiweze ku feel like you are it's lead to depression more, like mbona force issue like people to accept your and all that?
I feel like at times we, speaking from a point of privilege, like health is privilege in itself. We are not able to quite understand how it feels like for someone who is undergoing cancer treatment or somebody who is maybe having a skin disorder, how they feel. So I feel like as a society, we need to create space for people who are going through situations that are out of their control. Because you cannot control having cancer. If you have cancer, that's it. Cancer. Yes, you can go through treatment, but you cannot control some of these things. So I feel like we need to encourage people who are going through such conditions to seek mental health interventions, because they truly need it. Us as healthy people who are enjoying the privilege of good health, we also need to undergo mental health interventions. It's not just people who are going through problems, quote unquote, who need that. We all need that on a daily.
We all need it. Yes. So
actually, how can we stop stigma in the society?
I feel we need to create awareness first that we are different. We're not just different in personality, we're different by the experiences we are going through, and the fact that our differences are what make us unique. And we need to be able to create room to accommodate others without making them feel as if their existence is a burden to us. Yes, I feel like we owe it to ourselves and others to be kind every single day and show up in that same energy. So I feel like creating more awareness, one, and also if we can have measures to control being the overly stigmatization of people. I feel like maybe I used to hear stories. I wasn't alive in the early 90s or in the 80s. I was still somewhere else.
Where we don't know and we don't know.
Yes.
And we don't want to know.
Yes, but during those times, having HIV/AIDS was like a trigger. You'd be alone.
It was a satanic.
Yes, people did not actually want to believe that HIV and AIDS existed, but we've taken great strides towards ensuring that people feel accepted.
Yeah.
So it's a mindset thing that we need to work on first as people, and I feel like our education system did a great role to play. It had a great role in playing when it comes to destigmatizing. Yes, the society.
Dismas, unajua tukisema stigma walls, kuna mtu anaweza shangaa stigma walls nini. Okay, to the society that wana stigmatize hiyo unyanyapaa, sijui unyanyapaa. Kitu ambacho tunafaa kufanya, the walls in the stigma, tunasema watch your language, ask questions, learn more, listen to experience, and speak out. Do not go alafu unaanza tuseme sasa mimi na wewe Dismas tuna stigmatize Ashley pale, tunamwongelea vitu hatujui, so we first need to know her, tujue story yake.
Pia mimi nasema kwa we need to, as in public, nafaa kwa kuelezea all things about the mental health, ndio waweze kudeal na those people without discriminate.
Pia sisi tunaweza kuwa psychologist kumbe.
And I also feel like stigma in the lens of mental health inakuja na conditions like schizophrenia. I feel like those personality disorders ndo zenye people are really touchy about.
So what is umesema
schizophrenia?
Ndio nini sasa hiyo?
It's what we call crazy people.
Crazy.
People who are living in their own world, in their own reality. It does not I feel like most of us tend to stigmatize them. Even I myself, before I used to know this is actually a condition, it does not mean that they're not acceptable in our society. I used to think there's something, I used to think it is contagious in a way. But once you are educated, education is power, knowledge is power. You're able to know that some of these things are manageable. We have mental health institutions in this county of ours. One that I know of is Port Reitz. Yes, so if you know of anyone out there who is schizophrenic or is showing any signs of personality disorder or mental health disorder, I would highly recommend, instead of trying to deal with the situation at home, which most of the times we are not equipped for that type of intervention, you'd rather take them to a mental health institution where they're able to get the proper type of treatment that is designed for the problem itself.
So moving on, umesema kwanza before, like umesema as in kuwa na like mood swings, somehow like a new of mental, like no, kuna watu wako bipolar, like
yes.
So like do you also like get to sit down with those people like to manage their situation, or just no bipolar?
So I have experienced one person I was working with who's bipolar. Bipolarity looks like a moment of mania, and a moment of like now depression.
Okay.
So one moment your friend is very excited, very energetic, going about life, and then the next they don't want anything to do with the world. Actually, it's not even mood swings. It's like serious depression, where someone like anajifungia kwa nyumba, no human interaction, like they just want to be shut down kabisa. So one way that we deal with it is through therapy, but it cannot really work. Therapy alone cannot treat bipolarity. Actually, you do not treat it, you manage the situation. Okay. So like mostly you combine therapy and medicine. So
with someone with bipolar na hajui, like doesn't know that yakona anasuffer bipolar, like but anasuffer those shutdowns and whatever na ana like the surrounding yake kwa haijui kwa like pia they don't know that kwa na that new your face. What do you feel like wanapitia for you, like na wanazaje feel like wanazaje save their moments, like wanazaje grow that new condition?
You do not treat it. You do not. You manage the situation. You do not cure.
You manage the situation. Okay, so your process of manage, like how do you go about it?
So let me share with you a little bit of history about bipolarity. Okay. So when I was studying personality disorders, we were taught that it's mostly prone to be experienced by women, and more likely to be experienced by people who are rich, economically well off.
So
yes, she does a kidosi, for lack of a better way of putting it. Okay. But we understand that sio sote wenye tuko na pesa, but we also experience such situations. So it just doesn't happen in your adulthood. It has a history. Okay. So like you'd find toko kiwa mtoto, kuna zile moments zenye you're very hyper, very energetic, a total mania, you're happy and a go-getter. And then kuna hizo episodes zenye unaenda juu chini. So I feel like awareness ndo hakuna. Okay. You might call these people lazy, but actually it has nothing to do with their zeal towards life. It's more of like a chemical imbalance on the inside.
Now, ukisema kwa it's more of women, like is it that men don't open up, or is just that we shut down men, like what?
I feel like women are more open to speaking about it and saying when they have a problem. Okay. So I feel like when the research was being done, it was found more in women compared to men, because men tend to see it as normal. Okay. But mental health problems are not normal.
Okay, so Ashley, let's come to the state of suicide. Now we are in the state of now nataka kujua. What should you do to someone ambaye amekufuata na kuambia I'm thinking of doing suicide? Kitu gani unafaa kumwambia ndo uweze kumtoa kwa hiyo state? Jiwezi mwambia life is the same, acha na itaisha. What are the words ambao mtu anafaa kuongelesha mtu kama huyo?
I feel first when someone approaches you telling you that they want to commit suicide, one, you must be empathetic and listen. Like listening, in psychology we say you should have very big ears, very big eyes, very big nose. All of your senses should be heightened, but your mouth should be very small. So at that moment, ensure that you're listening to this person fully. Be present. Be empathetic. If there is a way that you're able to refer that person, I feel like it's very important. You do not try and deal with this on your own, because you will fail. You can listen and be empathetic, and then now you can refer this person to a mental health practitioner to deal with the situation. Us as normal people, we're not equipped with the skill set to deal with suicide. But you can be able, at the very least, what you can do is listen, be empathetic, and then refer them to somebody who is better equipped to deal with the situation.
Okay, so can one predict suicide even though mtu hajakwambia, as in you see him and can you predict someone is about to commit suicide?
I feel like the common sign is just withdrawal and change of behavior. But we have seen a situation where we're having a lot of happy faces with sad people. Sad people with happy faces.
Yeah.
So at times when we are waiting for you to show signs of like committing suicide, we might be waiting for a very long time. Yes. So it is upon us as friends and family to keep the conversation going. Like occasionally ask your friend, "Are you okay?" It doesn't really mean, and generally mean it when you're asking someone if they're okay. It doesn't necessarily mean you talk to someone when you need something in that occasion. Just regularly checking up on your circle ensures that you're able to live in health, all of you.
Saying checking up on circle. Dismas, are you okay, my brother? Nafani anze kucheck hizi circles.
Someone like, him asking, "Are you okay?" Like my answer should be just, "Yeah, niko poa, bro." No, sometimes just someone to answer,
Yeah.
So we are in that situation. Umeuliza rafiki yako, "Are you okay?" Na amekwambia, "Yes, I am." But ukiangalia for the past few days ama weeks, umemwona amekuwa withdraw from the outside world, unamwona amechange, but ukimuuliza anakwambia, "I'm definitely okay." So how do you get to know about him first na ili akueleze vizuri?
So I've dealt with such situations, and I know at times, like I was talking to Didmas, like you don't start telling just anyone if you're not okay. So it's more of like the relationship you have created with this person. So for me, I have found myself in situations where I've like created space for my circle. Like if you have a problem, like if when I'm checking up on you, I'll be like, I genuinely want to know how you're doing, not because I just want to hear a superficial, "I am okay." I feel like that's really not necessary with me. I'm genuinely invested and concerned to know if you're truly okay. At times, what we need is someone to listen to us, because in psychology, we believe you're capable of providing solutions for yourself. We just facilitate the process. And like we act as mirrors towards like the type of life you want. If you're having issues, we just reflect it on you and we're like, this is how things look like. Because when you in your mind things are crowded, you're not able to be objective enough. Yes.
So unasema like for me, like okay, open up, like do you feel someone anaweza feel like impossible to open up, kujua like you can use some against like anaweza kuambia shida zangu, then you feel like umeipost like maybe 2%, then in future time pate labda umetumia against me, get?
Yeah, I understand that, and that's why there's something that we encourage in psychology, journaling. Like you need to have a journal.
Okay.
When you feel like things are too much in your mind, I personally just write things down.
So it works?
It works.
Okay.
Because when things are deep, when you have a crowded mind, it actually even extends everywhere. Like unaweza ingia kwa room ya mtu ukapatana like nguo, viatu, chakula, it's everywhere, and that's a reflection of what's inside. But once you're able to find like a healthy way of letting this out, okay. Seriously, it makes a lot of sense. It's either you decide to take an art, you can decide you want to draw your emotions, art therapy, you want to sing your emotions, music therapy, and also, like let it out. There's no use for it being inside because it kills you.
It kills you. Okay.
Yes.
So Chris, ukienda kwa beshte yako pate like things are piled up.
True. Ask questions.
Okay.
Honestly, ask
Nitauliza maswali hadi nifuze. I'm checking to listeners wako ndani, log to Mwandiki Mariboti. Kuna Great Sami pale Facebook, Emmanuel Chengo, Hazard Krish Prince, Ricky Abrajan, Edgar Julius Tunji. So tukizidi kusikiliza from our speaker, I guess it's time apumzike kiasi juu lazima binadamu anafaa kurest kiasi. As tunapata maji na tukipata burudani juu kwa juu. Ni 106.2 nikiwa na wadau kwa Super Chris Henry.
Oniego
Dismas Oniego.
Yes,
jina unafaa uambie jina pesa.
Jina ni pesa, jina nzito hiyo. Jina unasema kama umeshiba peke yake. Something.
Yeah, for those ambao watupati katika frequency yetu ya 106.2 naweza stream pale live at zeno.fm/mvtfm. You get a conversation ama pia kama hujapata opportunity, we'll be uploading this session katika YouTube channel at Chris Henry TV, and you'll get to know. And it is not a one time thing, tutakuwa na hizi health talks so many times, but for now wacha tuende break kiasi na kibao cha Calligraph Jones akishirikisha Rostam. Who do you think mostly wanna commit suicides?
Honestly speaking,
Men.
Yes.
Why do you say men?
We as a society, we have conditioned them and primed them to commit suicide, because we tell them to be strong, to put up a strong frontier for their families and for everyone who looks up to them, but we never teach them to be vulnerable. And in a world where, in a fast-paced world like ours, we need more of our men to be able to open up. Because ni kugumu kunje.
Na bado mnasema mwanaume ni effort.
The effort, because we have so much expectations on them. They are the heads of our family, the heads of our society. So we need to create space for them to express themselves. For us as women, si tutasimama tutakaa kibarazani tuonge, tusengenye, tukitoka hapo tumetoa stress, tunaenda tunakaa nyumbani, we are smiling. At least we create space for each other to speak up about the problems you're facing, something that I feel men should be able to do more often.
Okay, we will be having more of these conversations frequently, but for now itabidi sasa our listeners tusamee kwa leo juu time naona haijatupa kisogo, so anasema hivyo haijatupatia kisogo.
Just to finish, kwa listeners, why should they visit a psychologist? Why should they visit you? Why should they have a session with you kwa their issues?
So the difference between a psychologist and your friend is that we create a safe space for you to express yourself. We work with you hand in hand to provide solutions to the problems you're facing, because we understand that you cannot do this on your own. If you are at a point where you want to consult a psychologist, you understand that you need an objective person who is able to listen and work with you towards the entire process of wellness. It's not a one-time thing. It is something that we should invest in for long-term wellness. Yes.
Oh, so can you give, unaweza patia wasikilizaji parting shot yako ueleze kuhusu mental health kiasi in a brief, in 30 seconds ueleze tu kiasi?
So I feel as young people, because I'm under the assumption our target audience here is young people, it is upon us to ensure we create safe spaces for each other. We're living in a cutthroat world where we are expected to be excellent. We get pressure from our family, our friends, social media, like everything is priming us to be on our A game. But we oftentimes neglect to look at our mental A game. So we need to invest in our mental health, learning. At times, if you're not in a position to actually go for therapy, because in this country it's still costly, you can invest in learning how to manage the situation and how exactly can you be able to identify these problems before they become worse. So I guess that is it. Invest in yourself and your well-being.
So mongea about the costly. Kwanza, with a session with you, like a professional, ni kama tunaongea how much even? Not even to range, you know, like.
Okay, so like an hour session with me, it's 1,000 shillings.
An hour?
Yes.
So for like normally like, you know, session enough for how long? Maybe?
Not more than an hour.
Not more than an hour.
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, esa tumesikia tunasema ni brief explanation of what one needs to do ndio ili asikue katika hiyo situation ambayo anataka pia kufanya commit suicide. Ashley, it is the first time that we are having this conversation with you, and not only the first time, tunatarajia more often tunakuita unakuja tunakuwa na this candid conversation. The third hour ambayo tutakuwa na health talk ndani ya Vita Kazini every day from Monday up to Thursday, lakini tutakuwa tuna schedule today. Sawa.